Welcome back to Open Transport Tycoon Deluxe, Episode 8. In the last episode, I started reorganizing the network for better traffic flow, and we gave Chugtopia a total makeover. Our crown jewel city is now thriving thanks to our expansions. But our work is not done, for the network must be reorganized to run efficiently. Behold, the network diagram that I drew in MS Paint. Most of our traffic issues are caused by our factory goods trains. After they leave their pickup station, they travel eastbound over the bridge and then hit the first junction. They have to take a left at the junction because the ring road does not service that direction of traffic. They continue north through the next junction up into the goods drop. From the goods drop, they cycle the rest of the ring road back to the first junction. Now they're forced to go right because the goods pickup station doesn't service that direction of traffic. This causes the trains to use this middle section of track twice, leading to a figure 8 style of pathing. And this effectively doubles the impact that the goods trains have on traffic. That's why I've had to do continuous upgrades on this section of the main line. Now to solve this issue, I'm going to reverse the direction of the factory goods pickup station. This will ensure that trains can take a large loop around the network instead of cutting through the middle. Now a lot of the footage I had recorded for this episode got corrupted, so you only get to see about half of the construction process. Maybe that's a blessing though. I think I had more trouble rebuilding this station than I've had with any other single project so far. I also want to try getting rid of this reversed station we built to drop resources into the factory. The space that it frees up will go a long way in expanding the 2 remaining drop stations. This was quite a big change for the routing in our trains, so it might be a good idea to let our network balance out for a bit. Our factory goods trains are completing their routes a lot quicker, so after these changes, less of those trains will be needed to handle the same amount of goods. I'll go ahead and delete a whole bunch of these goods trains and then we'll add them back into the network as needed. Look at how much of an impact these changes have had on the main line. This section of track used to be completely saturated. Now there's room for a lot more trains. That doesn't mean our traffic issues are over though. The exit to our ring road is starting to back up. Our factory goods trains are now taking a left turn here to go back over the bridge to their pickup station. The merging lines towards the station need to be upgraded to handle the increased throughput. I don't have to add any new lanes here. What I really need to do is allow for more opportunities for trains to choose other lanes. This gives them more chances to find empty space to merge into. I'm going to go ahead and add some more platforms to our factory drop stations, and removing that station earlier gave us enough space to have 7 platforms per lane. Now this upgrade is definitely overkill. If I need 7 station platforms to handle a completely saturated lane, that assumes that all traffic going in the direction of this station will end up here. If you consider the pathing of all of our trains, I think that that's actually the case, but there's always the chance that a stray train will come through here. I guess it's mostly inconsequential though. It's not a big deal either way, it's just something that needs to be taken into account sometimes. Here you can actually see the other side of the junction that I remade to service the factory station. The original footage of its construction was some of the footage that got corrupted. It goes through quite a lot of changes though, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. Right now, I'm rebuilding the tracks that merge the station exits back onto the main line. To see just how much has changed, here is the factory area before the rebuild. Now, everything is looking a lot cleaner and there's a lot more empty room for us to play with. I think I finally have the space to decorate this area to make it look like a real factory. I'm gonna do some work on the ring road now. I'd like to add a third lane, which also means upgrading all the junctions along the way. I can finally rebuild this Sideline Hub that gave me so much trouble a few episodes ago. And it's done! Now I had to tweak this quite a bit after building it. The split that sends trains into the sideline is pretty underbuilt, but so far under stress it seems to be working just fine. Adding an extra lane to the ring road was actually a pretty simple process. Our split main station hubs make it really easy to add new connections. I upgraded the backbone hub, again, to handle the third lane as well. Now I'm going to rebuild the station that serves as the steel drop for the factory. It was a bit of a challenge to fit it into this space, but the station itself doesn't have to be very large. We have very few steel trains, so we don't need many platforms to handle the throughput requirement. Most of the major construction is finished, so we can go ahead and add some more trains. I've started re-adding goods trains back into the network as well. We actually hit our 400th train here. Our network is really bustling now. Our trains are looking like ants in the world map. It's like some kind of Raelian ant farm. The junction that services our coal and steel area is having a hard time keeping up with the traffic. I need to add a second lane to service these stations and increase the throughput. The entrance junction was really easy to upgrade, but the exit junction gave me a lot of trouble. There's just not enough space to move most of the existing track. I do my best to allow for 2 lanes of throughput, but in the end it probably works out to be more like 1.5. The end result is a bit sketchy, but it does get rid of the backup. And I'm pretty sure that this is the last spot where a jam could have a direct impact on the main line. That means it's time to add some more trains. Of course, that footage corrupted. But we can still do the train count. Remember, we take our total number of trains and subtract the number of trains that were unprofitable last year. We have 430 total and only 3 were unprofitable. That gives us a total of 427. The 500 train goal is in sight, but there is still a lot of work to be done. Now that was a lot of brain-melting work. It's time to chill out and do some decoration work for the factory. In doing this, I am severely limiting my ability to ever run additional lines through this area. But I'm really hoping that the network changes I've made today can carry us to the 500 train mark. I've added some new scenery sets to the mod list. Everything from here and below is new for this episode. In addition to these new scenery sets, I've also added a mod that replaces the road textures, along with another mod that replaces the sprites for all the buildings and cities. I went out of my way to find a mod with one of those sound barriers you see on the sides of highways. The people of Chugtopia will be experiencing hearing loss no more. I mentioned in a previous episode that the industrial station set has tiles that react to cargo. These tiles are a good place to start if you want to add some life to your stations. These shipping containers that I placed will stack up based on how much cargo is waiting in the factory pickup station. And not only does it add some more life to the station, it's also a visual indicator of when I need to add some more trains servicing that pickup station. I'd like for there to be some kind of coastline decoration for this whole peninsula. I go through a couple iterations of design, but I'm not so happy with how it turned out. I think I need to go back to the mod browser and find some more scenery sets. Well, that was a lot of decorating. It didn't turn out exactly as I had hoped, but I think it does give us a good base to expand upon later. It's been cool seeing this peninsula evolve over the course of the series so far, and now that I'm laying down decorations, the tracks themselves are basically finalized. I have some space to do some minor tweaks, but really not much can change. Anyways, we've hit the end of the episode. I think we've got room for about 2 more episodes after this one before we hit our goal and end this series. But don't fret, there will be more Transport Tycoon content to come after this is wrapped up. Alright, I've got nothing more. Get out of here.